and welcome back to Date with the Divas. We have some hot topics for you. If you haven't subscribed, what you got to do? Click on that subscribe button and don't forget to like our videos. Grab your beverage of choice and let's begin. Ms. Marnita, hook us up.
All right, Divas, I got some hot topics for you that I hope will help make for some hot conversation.
Lay it on us, baby.
First up, okay, this story has to do a little bit with Major League Baseball and a little bit with country singer.
Yeah.
Definitely has to do with children and traveling, which we can all relate to in some kind of way. So let's get into it. My sources for this story are page6.com and Anthony Bass's Twitter. Anthony Bass is a professional baseball player on the Toronto Blue Jays, and his wife is named Sydney Ray Bass, and she's 5 months pregnant with what's going to be their third child. She was traveling on a United Airlines flight with her 5-year-old and 2-year-old. No other adults. Her husband was not with her, no nanny, no nothing. And apparently the flight attendant, I believe, gave the children some popcorn, and the 2-year-old spilled the popcorn on the floor. So according to Sydney Ray Bass, she texted her sister, who is country star, let me find her name, Jessie Deckler. She texted her sister and said, "Oh my God, I'm on this flight and my child spilled popcorn. They made me get on my hands and knees and clean up the popcorn." According to her, the flight attendant came up to her with the trash bag, some wipes, and said, "The captain wants you to clean up every drop because this is a hazard." So what do you guys think about this? Do you guys believe this story?
The captain does not care what's happening back there. He's just
Thank you.
He just gets them
like,
from
how does
point
the
A
captain
to point
know?
B. Captain
Right.
don't
I'm gonna
know
need
crap.
to see it in writing. I'm gonna need you to bring me the protocol book, bring me the procedures, so that I can
And then,
verify.
if I don't do it, and do you think it was her responsibility to clean it up? Do you think
No.
How
They
many
pay
flights
people
you been
for that.
on and people are dropping food and dropping this and that and the
Bottles
third?
and all kinds of newspapers, everything, gummy bears, all kinds of things. That's why they have a cleaning crew.
So this is a little,
Exactly.
we've got a picture. I'm not sure when this picture was taken because this doesn't look like a lot of popcorn.
That bad.
No. So I don't know if she cleaned up and then took the picture, or if this was the picture before she was told to clean up. There wasn't much meat to the story. So again, Sydney Ray was just traveling with her 2 kids. She texted her sister and her husband, who both went off on Twitter. Her sister went to page6.com with this story and was just like, "How dare this airline, shame on United Airlines." So there's just been a lot of back and forth about this online. And some people, because the husband posted the story, he posted the story very vaguely with a picture, with that picture that we saw saying like, "Hey, United Airlines made my pregnant wife get on her hands and knees and clean up this popcorn." So people were like, "Why didn't you help?" Apparently he wasn't on the flight, so he could not help.
Right.
Does she look pregnant? I'm just curious because 5 months and she tiny. She may not look pregnant.
No, they said she didn't look pregnant, but that's not really the point. Even if
it's not the
pregnant,
well.
she's
I think
traveling
the
with
point.
2 little
Was
kids.
she in first class or regular class though?
That was first class.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I was gonna
but
say
most
not
people
first
should be
class,
able to clean up after themselves and their kids though, a little bit on the flights. Like, come on.
That part.
Flight attendants are not your maids. Most times when you're flying, they don't have an extensive crew to go on after each flight because they have a next flight coming on, next, group of people coming on right after you leave. So like,
that's why they
COVID
have a
they should be
cleaning
in.
crew
With COVID,
cleaning up the
exactly.
flight.
They don't have
before
cleaning crews
passengers
like
come
that.
on. Yes, they do.
Yes,
That's
they
what
do.
they have to do.
If you go
That is
on
what they have to do.
Delta.com, there are job descriptions for people that clean up.
But that's at Delta. Not every airline is equal.
Every single airline
You don't see
is
them coming clean.
responsible
No,
for
I don't.
cleaning the planes prior to the next set of passengers
don't just
coming
leave the
on
planes
to
dirty.
the aircraft. They cannot do that.
Then
But what
why do they come down the aisle with that bag? 800
Exactly.
bags?
So
The
they
big
can
You
have
have
garbage.
someplace to throw
so
your
they
trash.
can
You're not
have a
supposed to
quicker
throw it on the floor.
turnaround. So they can have a quicker turnaround. These people get bonuses when the flights are on time.
Which they should. They should
Yeah,
get those.
and that's why they do it, so they can hurry up and do the turnover very quickly.
So maybe that's why they made her clean it up.
Well, also too,
Well,
what if
no, but
someone was
my
tripping? Wait a minute. What if a
question
flight
is
attendant was tripping over the kernels and stuff? Like hazard of like hurting somebody else, all that popcorn on the floor.
When
One
I
at a
read
time.
the
One at a
baseball
time,
players,
Same
come
thing
on
in the
now.
movie
Wait, I want to
theater?
hear what Antrese is
One
saying.
at a time, on trees.
when I read the baseball player's tweet about they made my pregnant wife get on her hands and knees and pick up the popcorn, my first question was, well, did she want the flight attendant to get on her hands and knees and
Right.
pick up
Yes,
her
that's her
child's
job.
popcorn?
No,
It's not her job.
It's not her
the
job.
flight
No,
attendant's
it's
job
not.
to do that.
Neither one should have gotten on their hands and knees. Just kind of
Thank
kick
you.
it to the side and it would get cleaned
And
up
keep
later.
it pushing.
like-
Yeah. keep it
Thank
pushing.
you.
Dustbuster.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
If you guys were on a flight and you saw this happening, if you saw a woman, pregnant or not, and she's traveling with two young kids, she's on her hands and knees. And according to her story, also, she said she was crying, she was exhausted. If you saw a woman
Humiliated.
crying on her hands and knees, would you help her if you were
Sure.
sitting around and you were
I think
able?
she was
No,
getting
but
dramatic.
that's what- that's what I
I would
don't
think she was full
Get
breath.
up.
Go ahead.
No,
You
but
notice
that's
it's
what I
all
don't
these
understand. Nobody else has
non-mothers
posted.
who are coming up with this nonsense of, no, she should have done it herself.
But there was no other
Oh.
people on this flight like that.
So
had
according to her, she said
posted
everyone
this.
Little
watched.
kids.
She's
Popcorn. It's not as though they threw it on the floor.
right. So according to her, she was just like
She just wanted everybody
down
else on the
there.
plane to clean up after her child while she sat
Right,
there and watched
right.
it.
I don't
I
have no
think it's-
sympathy
That's
for
the way
it.
it was supposed to
I
flow.
would like to know more. I would like to see like a passenger or maybe hear the flight attendant side of it. Cause it's like, was the child just throwing popcorn on the floor and you was just letting them? Or was it
Doesn't
like,
matter.
oh, you know,
Like,
there
your
was a
child
bump?
made a mess in a public setting.
Right.
It's your job as the parent to clean up
Mhm.
after your child's mess.
Right. Pregnant or not. If you too pregnant to bend down to do something, then don't travel with them kids then.
Don't travel with them kids then.
Bring your nanny with you. Where's your she's got all these millions. Where your nanny with you?
You don't
See,
know what she has.
I knew this would
Nope.
be a hot topic because some of us are
And some of us have been
parents, some
mothers and some
aren't.
of us haven't.
I have been
After
on
your kids
thousands
go-
of flights, and grown adults have made, when I leave
Made
those
much
planes,
mess.
much
Thank you.
worse. Now, this is a child. You know what? If as long as it's out of the way, nobody is tripping over it. Popcorn, come on, that's something that.
Yeah, it didn't look like a hazard. Antrese, do we
Yeah.
have the photo of the little girl
Oh, let
of
me.
the culprit?
Leave high.
I'm trying to gain
United-
sympathy for that one. Mm-mm.
I just
Trying
want to
to
show her
throw some
picture because she's
innocence
so
around.
cute.
Yeah, come on, really?
So that's
What if-
her.
What if
After the
another
flight-
person? What if another person on the flight complained really, and that's why the
No
flight?
Well, they
passenger is
didn't.
gonna complain about
Nobody
that.
complained.
Exactly, because half the time, come on now.
I
Y'all
don't
being
know. I don't
Seems like
know.
you don't feel like
I
you should
mean-
clean up after your child.
I
Apparently,
told you,
it's
I
not a
told you, I
policy
see
of
grown
United.
adults not clean up after
You
them.
guys have passed through the aisles when you coming off that plane and you're like, look at this mess.
Exactly, and it's not all
Well,
kids doing it.
And
Like I
I'm
said,
not
it's
saying
Your
I'm
child
not
is
s-
different. You're
not
supposed to clean
saying-
up after your child, though.
I get you. I get you.
Part of the reason why you pay hundreds of dollars on that flight is because they're supposed to
But
clean
clean
up
up too.
after you. All right.
Thank you.
My
Just like
question
that
is,
rest-
was it
So
after
that-
grown
that-
But
adults?
when you
that's
drop
what I'm
popcorn at the movie theater, you picked it
You
up
picking it up?
and
And
went
that's
on
what
your
somebody on
Oh,
Twitter
hell
said.
no, no.
All right then. All right then.
Stop it.
That's what somebody on Twitter said. Like, we always drop popcorn at the
Fini.
movies. We never clean it up.
So I think it's a fair point that there are people there to clean up the
Yes,
mess that gets
yes.
made on the plane. What I did not understand about the story is being traumatized
That
that you
part.
had to pick up your own child's popcorn.
Right. If it's that bad, just don't pick it up. What are they gonna do?
It was the crying, the humiliation.
Make me.
It was the trauma
Make
of it all
me.
for me.
Really?
Right.
Make
I was like,
girl.
what's gonna happen if she don't clean it up? Like,
Make
Right.
me.
we in the sky.
That part I agree with you, Ms. Antrese. I agree with you.
They made my
Hormones,
wife clean up
pregnancy,
after my daughter.
hormones, pregnancy, hormones.
Pregnancy
Right,
hormones,
right. And
okay.
traveling with two little
Pregnancy,
kids.
hormones, right. She was
Hormones.
stressed. She was tired. She was
Right.
probably not feeling great.
Then bring your nanny.
Oh, gee.
What if it was a regular person, Alicia, who didn't have a nanny?
She
Then
would
what?
this would have caught this story would not have caught as much attention. Let's be honest.
It's not about the story. It's about the
This story would have caught attention if it had got on Twitter, trust me. And apparently United's policy is for that stewardess not to have made her do that because they said they were going to deal with the stewardess.
No, the dad said that after people.
No,
went at him on
United
Twitter.
Airlines.
No, United Airlines. Well, the father said United Airlines.
The father said it.
Is taking care of them or going to take
Because
care
that's
of
what
them.
you
or
say
whatever.
to annoy
I'm just saying,
customers.
the
We're
thing I
going to
read
deal
said
with it
United
internally.
Airlines will
Okay,
deal
go away
with the
now.
stewardess.
Going about your life.
I get you. No, I agree. It's like they're doing what she should have did. Sweep the popcorn underneath the chair.
They need to sweep this whole thing underneath the rug. That flight attendant seemed like she picked the wrong one, because I do agree that this story caught up so much because her sister is a country star and her husband is Major League Baseball. But viewers, chime in, let us know. Have y'all traveled with little kids? Do you think it was the mom's responsibility to clean up the mess, or should we let the airline clean it up? But I'm gonna listen to Miss Lavelle and be like, hey, y'all got a cleaning crew. That's their job. All right, divas, we are going to head on a little flight in our minds, and let's fly on over to Jamaica for Carnival. All right. So my sources for this story are
I know what
Scott,
this is about.
and and legit.ng. First time I heard of that website, but legit.ng. I got a little information from there, so we're gonna get them their credit. We had Carnival in Jamaica. I'm guessing it was this past weekend. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. But we had some celebrities down there, including Chance the Rapper. So Chance the Rapper is, as his name tells us, a rapper. He is also an activist. He is a man of God. He's married with 2 kids, been married to his wife since 2018. They were engaged earlier in 2018, and they began their romance in 2013, even though they met when they were 9 at a office party, at his mom's office party. But anyway, so Chance the Rapper was down in Jamaica celebrating his birthday at Carnival, and we got a couple little videos of him whining, pawning some girls. Yeah, okay, you see, he getting it.
You guys want to see your husbands doing that?
Exactly. Look at him smacking the booty. And then we got another one, him on somebody else. Lady. So, he down at Carnival having a good time. But the internet was, a little torn on this one. Some people are like, he's a married man. How can he disrespect his wife like that? Other people are like, this is just Carnival culture. Divas, what
That's
do you
exactly
think?
what it is.
It's carnival culture.
That's carnival culture. And even in the United States, when they Labor Day parade, Atlanta Carnival, it's all the same. It's the culture. And everyone's backing it up. There are plenty of songs about backing it up. There are plenty of songs about wine upon it. There are
5 cents, 10 cents, dollar.
There are plenty of songs. Look back. There's plenty of look back while you're doing your thing. There are plenty of songs that basically that's what you do.
Even look, Jessie Wu, wasn't she right? That's her name, I believe.
Jessie Wu,
right, was getting a little bit of flack for what she did in her Carnival video, the way she presented her video.
The costumes.
Thank you.
That's just what it is.
So why is
I think it's more that him
What's that have to do
grinding
with
up
history?
on.
Everyone
I'm sorry, go ahead,
does it.
Alicia.
I was going to ask what the history of Carnival is. Like, why is it so secularized? I thought it was like about, harvest and all this sort of stuff, but how did it get to sex?
It's just about celebration. And here we go. Traveling down the road, you always learn something new one day with the Divas.
So I have a question. Would you ladies feel comfortable if you saw a video like that of your husband on social media while he's down, in the Caribbean? How would you feel being at home seeing that?
I would be the one winding up against my man. All right.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. He
Thank
ain't gonna have
you.
it without
I'm a
me.
man.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
I'm-
yes.
I'm gonna be
Thank
there
you.
with my husband, and I'm gonna be winding up with him. He ain't gonna be going by himself.
Yeah.
Now,
Same here.
basically.
now that I can get with. We
But
down
I
there
will say
whining as a
this.
couple.
I will say this, like, you can be there. I guess what it is there's a level, and I don't know how you say it. It's like there's a level, and this may sound so bad. There's a level of respect because you can be you can whine upon somebody and have someone come to you, come behind you, whatever. But usually people do it and then they move on. And they move on to the
Okay.
next person, and they move on to the next person. It becomes disrespectful when you're staying with the person and you won't leave them alone and you start harassing them and things of that nature. But most of the time, you know, a song comes on, somebody stops, starts doing whatever they're doing, somebody come behind them, and then you start walking, you moving, and everyone keeps moving. It's not like this constant person, the same, unless it's your mate coming behind you. But for the most part, everyone's doing it to everybody. But again, it's about, and as loosely as the respect can come about, you just kind of like keep it moving and you call it a day.
Now I want to hear you answer on Teresa's question now.
Yeah, because I don't think my question got answered by anybody.
I have never been to Carnival, meaning in the West Indies.
But your
I
man,
have been to Carnival functions within
Not
the United
you. Would you be
States.
okay with your man
Oh,
doing what
yes, I've
Chance was
seen
doing?
the people that I have been with. What, and best believe you me, I'm looking back, whining mine too.
okay. 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 How about anybody else? How anybody else chime in?
Yeah, I said no. I would not be comfortable with that. Me and Lavelle answered it. Like we were on the same page saying hell to the no.
Ain't nobody winding up on my man instead of me, girl.
Right.
Hey.
Because I'm like that. I guess since you've been before, Lava, like do a lot of hookups just so happen to happen, like one night stands happen a lot, or what?
Of course.
I'm
This is just
sure,
like-
but
it's
we
just
don't
like
have
going to a
any
club.
statistics on it, Ms. Alicia.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if a person's gonna do it, they're gonna do it. Just because they
Yeah.
wind it up on it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna go any further than
And
that.
that's
Oh,
exactly
that
it. It's all
encourages
about,
it a
like,
little bit.
Yeah, I don't think like I said, it becomes disrespectful when you are like you're a constant. And again, in this, the bad part about like even like when you watch like reggae videos and you're watching the dances sometimes, and if you look like Deep Jamaica when they have those type of parties, and the dirty wine when they're talking about that and they're doing all types of dances, that's just, in this, sad to say, that's just the culture, you know. So yeah.
Okay, I have a question about the culture. So you find,
And we're not spokespersons of the culture.
Exactly.
This is just
Allegedly,
opinion.
I'm not saying I'm not a
personal
constant
opinion.
you guys
participant.
are talking about the culture. So I'm asking, I'm out there in my bikini and my tennis shoes, winding it up. Is my man okay with me grinding on some 6 foot fine dude?
I think
Is that
that's an individual relationship.
Exactly. That's an individual thing. It's an individual
No,
thing.
I'm just wondering, overall, are married women allowed to grind up on every dude that they
I
see?
wouldn't know about every woman's
But- exactly,
relationship
but the
with
thing
their
is,
We're talking
man.
about Chance, we're saying it's cultural for him to be able to do that because that's what you do in the culture. So I'm just wondering, does it work both ways? Can married women also?
okay, I will
grind
say
up
this
on
to you.
everybody?
When you're looking around in the environment, everyone's doing it to everybody, men and women, women on women, not men on men, really.
You
but
even saw women on women just a second
exactly
ago.
in that
Exactly.
particular video, you saw 2 women in front and then him in the back. So it's not like, oh, I'm going around saying, oh, he's married, oh, I can't, she's married. People are just on top of everybody.
just dancing.
No one is
They're
paying
just
attention.
dancing.
They're just
Is it
dancing.
disrespectful to walk away? Like if somebody
the
started
correct-
winding
No,
on
it's
me?
not. No
Line.
one will
Okay,
take.
I'm just wondering. I was like, oh, okay.
You can go and you can kind of like put somebody back, and
Just like regular dancing.
Yeah,
like
because
when you got
regular
song
dancing.
dancing.
clubs here, there's a lot of guys who want to come and grind up on you, but there are people doing it and people not doing it. There are people comfortable
Exactly.
with
It's the
it and
same.
people not comfortable with it.
Exactly. And
same.
if you, first of all,
So the
most people who are
discussion
not
right
comfortable
now
with it are
is,
not
would
gonna
you
go
be
to Carnival.
comfortable with your man doing it? Because everybody's man, I'm sure, is not doing that.
Right.
That's
right.
I'm
true.
not saying that, but you can tell. And the thing is, the people who don't want to engage in that, You can tell because they're not. And if I as a female don't want to be, whined upon, my man is going to be behind me and he's going to stay there and he's going to stay with me and call it a day.
Unless he's tired of you, wants to change it. But anyway,
You know what, Lisa? You just want a statement. You just want better than me.
Oh, but she just trying to start some stuff.
Exactly.
Starting something.
My man can't be winding it up and getting it on camera.
And like I said, it's a conversation that has to be had
That shit
prior to
ain't
going to
happening,
any
okay?
country's carnival.
Thank you.
So I have a question,
Exactly.
Marnita.
Yeah,
What did Chance's wife say in response to all this stuff happening on social media? What was her response?
I haven't seen any response from the wife.
Cricket.
She probably was
That
like,
means-
That
somebody-
means she was not happy.
So yeah, I don't know if anybody else seen anything.
Maybe he
but I
didn't
ain't
have the
seen no-
talk, or she didn't have the talk with him before he left. He didn't have the
He
talk
said,
with her.
baby, it's the culture. Everybody.
So viewers, y'all drop down in them comments. Let us know. Are you down with that wind it up culture? You gonna let your significant other go out to Carnival? Y'all been out to Carnival? Should we go out there next year or something?
Stella?
Divas do Carnival. What y'all think?
I don't
What
think y'all appreciating the culture.
You ain't got enough on me.
Marnita,
Yeah,
we
go
can't
wind
do
it up,
this,
Miss
can't do no
Auntie.
Carnival
I
'cause
ain't
we
down
gotta-
with it. No.
Marnita, we're not gonna do Divas doing Carnival. There's some instigators in the back. We gotta leave them at home.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, you ain't. I'm
Indeed.
We need
All
some white
right.
handkerchiefs.
All right, y'all. We're gonna roll on into the next topic. We're gonna talk a little bit about relationships. My sources for this story are page6.com, See the Thing Is podcast, and Around the Way Curls podcast. So y'all remember Marcus Houston? He was in
Oh Lord, we talking about this.
Go Home Roger. He was Roger and Sister. So Marcus Houston did a unsung episode recently, excuse me, not unsung, uncensored, TV One's uncensored episode where he talked about his wife. He is 41 and his wife is
12.
yeah, exactly. I forgot how old she is now.
22.
She's 19.
22, but she was
22,
19
okay.
when he got
Oh,
Right.
she was
She
19
was
when they
19
got.
when they got engaged.
But they had
He was-
been dating for like 9 years or something like
So
that.
9
he
years?
said they
Wow.
were.
9 years.
I don't think. Well, okay. According to him, according to what I heard on these different podcasts, because I didn't watch the episode yet, but he said he first saw his wife when she was 17, but he did not speak to her because she was
Mhm.
underage. So
Right.
when she turned 18 is when they started talking and dating, engaged when she was 19, he was 38. So
Mhm.
after this episode aired, he went on to do a little interview with Page 6 where he was saying that women his age often come with baggage and kids. He could have picked a woman his age, but it could have been disastrous.
Yeah, you're killing me,
Yeah.
Smalls. You're
Yeah,
killing me.
You're
You're
killing me.
killing me.
Thank you.
He said that women his age are often too independent and they don't need a man.
No, you
and
just
he
want somebody
comes-
you can control.
Exactly. He comes from the generation where he wants to treat his woman and his about women and kids. He said that his dad always told him, you want to have your own kids because you never know what the baby's daddy is about. So we done jumped in a little bit. What y'all think about this? Like, is it
That's
is it
pretty
mind game?
one-sided.
Mhm.
Him saying that a woman his age is independent. I'm like, she should be. I mean, she should know how to take care of herself. I mean, it'd be
By
nice
that
to have a
point,
man that
hello.
can take care of us.
Right.
But
And I think it's a little creepy that he talking about he waited around until he allegedly waited around until she was 18 to start pursuing her.
And
Right.
then were they like Jehovah Witness?
it is I'm not sure what their religion is, but he said they are like
They
spiritual.
met at a Jehovah
grounded.
Witness event, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Oh,
wondering. how he
I
met her.
read that she was a runaway teen.
I've been hearing
and
that
a friend of
too.
his took her into his home.
Wow, this story is taking
This
a
story's
turn.
growing.
Andres, I
Wow.
that too, that she was missing until she came up married to Marcus Houston.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah. It's real creepy, the story.
She wasn't
Yeah.
was she missing as in like she
No,
chose
she was
to
a
be missing?
runaway. And
Yeah,
then I
so
think
she wasn't
his
missing.
friend
She
Chris
was-
Stokes took her in, and that's how he ended up meeting her. He was
Oh, I didn't know it was Chris
with
Stokes.
the family that took her in.
Mm.
Wow. And we already know Chris Stokes got some issues.
I was like, I've been hearing about Chris Stokes issues. I don't know exactly what they
Yeah.
were. I didn't listen into them, but yeah.
I love this tweet.
Yeah, that's true.
He basically wants somebody young who has not developed potentially her own mind
Yeah.
Mhm.
at that time,
Exactly.
because she's still growing. You don't, when you're, yeah, he wanted somebody he can control, he can
Manipulate.
I guess
Exactly. Because she
manipulate,
hasn't experienced life
allegedly
yet.
manipulate to, the way he wants. He can groom her into the
Mhm.
person that he wants. But
I
what he
feel
ain't
like her
gonna
brain
realize
hasn't
is
fully
that when she
developed
hit
yet.
about 29, 28, she gonna be like, please, excuse my French, sorry.
Right,
She
you know what?
didn't
love
have
that
any
tweet
back.
right there.
Okay,
Those
go back to
tweets
that
were
last
good.
tweet about Go back to
Go back
that
to that
last
tweet.
tweet.
On
Oh, the
Facebook.
last
Last
tweet?
tweet
Okay,
was
okay.
cute.
Exactly.
He was telling the truth, because see, they're right. If you're running away at
If she was
15-year-old,
15-year-old
as
and run
15-year-olds, you definitely have baggage. Come on now. What are you running away from? Like,
Right.
My
Some
dad's
people
have a
40
type.
is different than my 40. My 40 is like 20. These, oh my God.
I heard
these
Leonardo
pedophiles are being-
DiCaprio is the same way. He likes
Oh
them.
yeah, he does.
Yeah,
some women
he
to a
does
certain
too.
age. But he don't marry them.
Yeah, he does.
He
At
just-
least you
yeah.
kind of like, what you're getting into. Like, oh, okay, I'm a young woman. I'm gonna give me a couple years of Leo. But yeah,
Do you
this
think that's
dude,
in their
worse, though?
20s. Aren't Leo's girls in their 20s? They're models.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
he'd be
Yeah.
like below 25 or something.
He's not a pedophile.
Yeah.
Well, technically, he wasn't either, from
No,
what
he
he
waited.
said.
allegedly
said-
waited. We don't know if he really did wait, because remember, she was hidden. So
And also Marcus
According to
Houston said
him, he
that
said he did.
a lot of women his age are jealous because we wanted him in the past. Yes, I did think I still
Stop
think you're cute
it.
now, but no, I'm not jealous. Like,
We're jealous because we wanted him to pass, meaning because he was, no, does that sound backwards?
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
He was
I
like,
think
go watch my
he also-
movies if y'all jealous.
Didn't he also say that women his age are independent
Mhm.
and want to do for themselves, and he really wants to be the provider and the protector, and he's old school in that way? And I'm like, a lot of women in their 40s would love for you to take care of them. I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying. I may be
You probably
independent,
can.
but it ain't my choice. Look, I ain't trying to cover the mortgage and the bills. It's
Right.
That part.
my Mr. Wonderful has not walked through the door to grace me with being able to take care of the household. When he does, yes,
Yeah.
I'll step down from the independence part, but I gotta have a life and I gotta live.
Right. Like you
Right.
can't tell me what to do or whatever. Not that I
It's like
I
there's
don't
a
know if that he's telling this
19-year
girl what to do, but
A
Say what?
19-year age gap. 19 years.
He could literally be her father. But
Yes.
anyway,
But we flip this around, right? Because it's pretty much accepted that this, in terms of the male, female, the male being so much older. I
Older
mean,
than
he's
the
not
female.
getting that much flack. But
But what
when
about
it-
the whole mark with the Jordan's wife? What's his
oh,
name? Scottie
Larsa
Pippen.
Pippen?
Larsa Pippen.
That has to do more with the relationship with the family versus if it was a stranger guy, it was a man she met that didn't have,
no,
that
they were
she wasn't
calling
married
him
to
a
the
boy.
husband.
We were
They
even
were-
calling him a boy until we realized how old he was.
I think the difference here is also that that Marcus Houston picked this girl up so young. It's like she didn't even have a chance to grow up yet. And it's like, oh, okay, I was watching her since she was 17 or whatever. I saw her when she was 17 and then we got together. It's like if they got together later in life, like she was already in her 20s or something, I'm talking like over 25, like if she's had a little time to live, then okay, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's just like,
Okay, I'm
and
gonna
then
play
you-
devil's advocate with this. You're
Mhm.
assuming she hasn't lived a life. These kids who are not kids be getting into stuff a lot earlier. She may already had a few men.
was a
friends, did her
runaway.
thing, and she was a
Mhm.
runaway.
oh,
But you're
you know what? Maybe
assuming-
she preyed on him.
Well,
I feel like I'm
I'm
Alicia now.
just saying that she may not be as innocent as it's being portrayed, but we're
Yeah.
assuming that he, he coerced her and got her involved. She may
Sure.
already had other relationships and done all her stuff and done some dirt or adult stuff. I'm not saying either way. I'm just
Right.
playing devil's advocate on that.
No, I mean, I see what you're
I agree.
saying. I'm
Yeah.
just
She
taking
is-
it a step further. Like,
She
okay,
is
if
not
she
the
was,
first, and she will not be the last.
Mhm.
It's the tell of time. They've been
if she
doing
was
it.
if she was a runaway, I'm just taking it a step further. Like maybe she did see a little sister rerun, saw House Party 3 or something, and then saw him at the temple or wherever they met. And then because he was like, he liked
the
that she was
Kingdom
like,
Hall.
I don't know who you are. She probably was like, yeah, take my notes. Nah, dude, I don't even know who you are. Oh, you want to marry me? Okay. You want to take care of me? Okay.
Right. She probably thought she hit the jackpot with him. But I'm like, so what's he doing
I
now?
mean,
to
for
make
now,
money
she
to-
probably did.
What is
She'll be on
he doing?
Housewives in a couple years.
Yeah. I'm like, what is Marcus Houston doing right now to make some money to be taking care of her and her family now?
That's
Like,
what I was
He's trying to
wondering.
be an actor and a singer.
ain't
And
nobody hiring him right now.
exactly. And my thing, when I was watching the interview, it's obvious that he's gotten some backlash for this relationship. So
Mhm.
trying to like defend it.
Yeah,
And
he
no
like doubled
favors.
down on the Page 6 interview. It was like whatever that show came out. Uncensored, thank you. Uncensored came out. He's getting all this slack. So then he doubled down on the Page 6 interview, but it just made him sound more creepy, talking about I could have got with a woman my age and it could have been disastrous because she could have been too independent. And I was like, that doesn't make you sound good.
Right. You just
And
lied.
why are you insulting your potential audience? Because 20-year-olds are not checking for him in terms of
Exactly.
They don't even know his music.
And it can
Right.
still be his relationship can still be disastrous. It's still in the beginning.
Exactly.
I'm
Any
not
relationship
I'm
could
not
be
wishing any
disastrous.
wrong on his relationship. I'm just saying.
No, I
Right.
feel you.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so true. He's pretty much discounted half of his audience. Like if he were to get into a movie, ain't nobody about to watch it at this point.
hey,
If he were to release a song, ain't nobody about to listen.
Breathe out.
I would watch him on a BET movie or something. If it's on my services, I watch. Well,
Okay.
Divas, I think that was it. I think it was a nice, short, and sweet one. And I have just been told that we are at time.
Oh my goodness.
Perfection.
Look at that.
All right, y'all.
Look at
Well,
that.
everybody who's watching, please jump down into the comments. Get into the conversation with us. Tell us what you thought about this whole Marcus Houston thing. Tell us what you think about the Carnival, winding it up, and tell us what you think about the plane situation. And tell us what you want to hear about. You know,
Tell us if you want Trees picking up
watch.
popcorn.
What's
What?
going on? All right, y'all. Good night.
All right, y'all. Good night.
thanks.
All right, y'all. The Divas was having so much fun, so much of a good time talking, and we got one more for you. We wanted to talk about Jonathan Majors in this developing case. So those of you that don't know, Jonathan Majors is an actor, 33 years old. He's known for the HBO series Lovecraft Country. He was recently in the movie Creed and in the Marvel movie Ant-Man versus Ant-Man or something. I don't know. He was a villain in Ant-Man movie. So about a month ago, like sometime last month, there was an alleged incident between Jonathan Majors and his lady friend. I don't know if she's his girlfriend or what. The story is that she was strangled. Allegedly by him. We're not exactly sure. Details are still coming out. We know that I think he was initially arrested for it. There were some text messages where she texted him and said, you know, I told the cops it was my fault. I was trying to grab your phone, and the only reason that 911 was called was because I blacked out. So, you know, she was basically, you know, apologizing to him for him being arrested. And Antrese, you told me there's some developments on there. On this case, could you?
Well, he immediately came out. His people came out and pleaded his innocence and made it seem like the woman was emotionally unstable and she was crazy. And I think his lawyer released some text messages to TMZ
Right.
that you just referenced, which really made only made him sound more guilty because it sounded like a victim covering up the story.
Well, she basically said, you did it. I'm sorry to turn you in. I didn't know it would go this far. I don't know verbatim what she said, but that's what basically
she
in the
said she
Bible she
wasn't going to
said.
cooperate with the police, and they didn't have her permission to move forward. But in no way did she say he didn't do anything to her. So people were like, this doesn't make you look innocent. This makes you look guilty. And in the interim, I think his management, his PR people,
PR firm.
Would you say, Nicole?
And his
PR
firm, his
Yeah, his
management.
PR firm has dropped him. And
He's
so
been
now,
removed.
apparently it came out today, there are other victims who are coming forward.
And they're cooperating with the
Oh.
DA. They're cooperating with the DA too. So they're like,
The victims came out before today. They've been out. They started running their
But
mouth as soon
before
as she
that,
did.
when this case first broke and his people were saying he was so innocent, people who have worked with John, I think his name is Jonathan Reese Majors, over the years were coming out to say this man is a sociopath. He's horrible to work with. He's really cruel. I mean, people going back to like college were coming out saying this is a horrible human being.
that's wild because every time he's on like doing a press tour or something, he's trying to come off as the gentle masculinity, you know, wearing pink and trying to hug
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan talking about, gotta talk about femininity and men, this and that. So to hear that he's horrible behind the scenes, that's crazy.
I guess if he's a
PR.
sociopath.
According
Yeah.
to TMZ 40 some odd minutes ago, Jonathan Majors says that he claims that there's video proof that she was not injured when she went out to the club after their altercation.
So what I will say is this: the woman claimed that she was strangulated, correct?
Right.
Strangulation, I'd say a large percentage of the time, people think that strangulation leaves marks. Depending on how you are, people don't realize you could be, attacked this way, whatever. But strangulation does not leave marks. But what leads
Not always.
That doesn't always leave marks. That's number one. A lot of times, the thing that is very disparaging is the fact that she said, due to the fact that I collapsed and passed out. That is one of the key signs of a person being strangulated. What happens is a lot of times women do not recognize that they have been strangulated. They only they just remember the fact that they were in one position, and then the next minute they're in another position, or they have passed out, or they're just in a totally different space than they were originally. Sometimes they've defecated on themselves because they've lost all bodily whatever, because the breathing has stopped at that point. So the statement of her saying, oh, the only reason why, I called 911 is because I collapsed and passed out.
He called 911.
Well, okay. Well, the fact that she passed out.
He called 911 because he thought this person had lost her life. Like he's the one.
So he called 911 thinking he was nowhere near her and she just kind of fell out. That's why he said
he could drive the narrative. He was going to tell them what happened, but I think he called 911 out of fear that he.
So it says I'm reading an article, and it says a few hours later, the woman. Hold on. The article is from Variety magazine, and it says a few hours later, the woman allegedly wrote, I know you have the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the 911 call was to me collapsing and passing out, and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior.
Yeah. He was worried and he called.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, she passed out.
Yeah. And so when they came to the scene, they know the signs. So this is what they do for a living. So they knew that she had passed out because she had been strangled, and that's why he got arrested.
In this text that damns him, that's damaging to him, it supposedly says, I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone.
Right. That's what she said to him.
Right. So obviously he did something because she's saying it was her fault. that he did it.
So what do you guys think about Jonathan Majors kind of being dropped by his like you guys said, his PR firm, his management? There's talk of Disney recasting his part that he just did in the Ant-Man, for the next movies, because this one's already out. What do you guys think about him losing this business and we don't know what happened? The case is basically still open. He's not been proven guilty.
Yeah, that was my thinking. Like, we don't know
Premature.
what's happening. And I mean, in all these cases, where you're hearing, these people losing their endorsements or whatever their parts of their livelihood. I wonder if if they're so quick. I guess, it feels like a betrayal to a point, because you don't even know if I did something yet. And you're just like, oh, gotta go. I don't know. I'm conflicted on this. I'm kind of conflicted.
And they're not that quick in general for non-people of color.
Right. I was gonna say the same thing. I'm conflicted because of he hasn't been tried. I mean, if he's guilty, he's guilty. But my other issue, as Nicole mentioned, that if it was a non-minority, how many of them have lost their endorsements in their livelihood?
A lot of them. Come on.
They have.
No, they haven't. There's a list going on right now.
Right away before they come out.
Cancel culture is harsh and swift these days.
Right, but right now everybody is comparing him to Ezra Miller and how Ezra Miller is still like proven innocent until guilty. You know what I mean? Like
he's from Fantastic Beasts.
He ain't getting a fair shot. I think if he was a different
I
it wouldn't be as quick. He may still lose it, but it's like at least give him, his trial.
Yeah. And I do feel bad that his PR people left him. Like, that's your job. Like, if I have a disaster going on, literally this is your job. People like, hello.
They collected their money and they ain't paying what they
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
That's kind of rough.
Maybe they were having a volatile relationship all along, and the PR company had said, look, you need to get away from this woman. You need to back up, something.
But still,
I agree with Entree's. Cancel culture is
real,
running rampant.
Yep.
And they're just like, okay, bye.
And that's why they told him to get away from that volatile relationship.
Yeah, and just like I said, you said, that's what Alicia said. That's what your PR people do. They understand. Okay, fine. Okay, I may leave you, but we're gonna see what we can do about this. They just kind of said, flat left.
Where's Olivia Pope?
Like I said, you don't know what the conversations were in the back.
Remember, after the Me Too movement, everybody is walking on eggshells not to have any of these incidences be repeated and no one associated with or have nothing being done. So everybody's really, handling these situations with kid gloves.
Right. And they should. I don't believe in domestic violence. Anybody, either male or female, doing it. And if he is guilty, I mean, it appears allegedly that the signs are he is, that he gets what he deserves and he should go through he should lose the endorsement, whatever.
Yeah, did you guys hear about Claudia Jordan on TGIF? I think that's the name of the show.
Yes, TGIF.
And she, when the story first broke, she made some controversial remarks about, because this woman is Caucasian. Maybe that's why he should have been with a black. I'm paraphrasing Claudia, so please.
Oh, dang.
If I don't quote you to the letter, but a summary of what she said was, maybe he should have been with a black woman. We can take it, and like a black woman.
What?
Okay,
that's a black woman wouldn't have put him in that situation, and it was like, wait a minute, so we're the punching bags now, like,
girl.
Claudia, what?
Yeah, you put your hands on me. That's the issue. Nobody should be putting their hands on nobody.
Right.
You accept the consequence of when you do that. Like I said, male or female.
Exactly. She just set herself and Western women back 50 years for that comment. Like,
sure.
There's the narrative of white women putting black men in peril by accusing them of things they didn't do. Fine. But when Megan Thee Stallion said Tory Lanez shot her, we didn't believe her. It's like, when do we ever hold black men accountable or the things
Yeah.
that they do.
Yeah, I agree too on that one. I see that point. Yeah.
Oh no, I
He
said
should
he did it.
definitely- I agree
needs
with
to
you
be
that he should
tried,
be
go
held
to jail.
accountable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should be held accountable.
Were you gonna say something, Nicole?
What I will say
About
is,
the
what
text.
I think what Claudia was hinting at, Black women are going to take care as much as they can. They're not just going to throw it out there and they don't know. Just like a Black person is probably going to be more hesitant to call the cops on a Black male, child, whatever, unless it's really, really real and serious, because you know the consequences of what they
I feel
could
like
do.
that was real serious. She lost
But
consciousness.
also, like Auntie
You know,
said,
her quote was,
apparently
I didn't
he
say it
called the
wasn't.
cops. So
her
Yeah.
quote was, "Come on, man, you know you can't get away with it with them. They're already looking. They looking."
okay, so she was saying like so I take that as you're in deeper trouble because you did it to a white woman versus a Black woman.
She said you can't get
No.
away with it with them, like implying you can get away with it with us.
So
But I
that's
think
what
that's more
Lisa
society.
Because
Ray.
we'll have your
Not-
back.
I
Lisa
don't
Ray questioned her. Lisa Ray questioned her and said, "When you say that, what do you mean? Them as women or them as white folks? What are you talking about?" She said, she then responded by saying, "Watch themselves around white women. It's been a couple of white women," she explained. "They are saying, not saying you can't interracially date, because I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that. I'm just saying you got to watch yourself because they're going to believe your accuser before they believe you."
So I take that as
And
like,
that's from acesshowbiz.com.
I take that as she's not saying like it's okay to beat up on Black women. I think she's saying that
Watch
If
your
police came-
sticks. Watch your
if the
tank.
police
Yeah.
came and it was a Black woman, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Story, think of the story.
That's what I
Which
think Claudia
implies,
is saying.
Marnita, you can beat up Black women and get
No,
away
but
with it
no,
a
I'm
little
not
more
saying-
easily.
I don't
I think what she's saying,
I think what
Go
she's
on,
saying is
Marnita.
that the media is making a bigger deal because it's like the media and all these consequences are coming because it's Black man, white woman. I'm not
she
saying that
said,
it's-
we've
it's
seen
not-
it
like
happen
somebody said, it's
before,
not
like
good to hit
400
your head.
years ago. Like basically what's going to happen, you got to watch yourself because they're going to believe your accuser before you. Love who you love, you know, but you just got to watch yourself.
So I think I see her point, but yeah, it's not
can be
right to put
taken
your hands
wrong.
on anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have happened to
It shouldn't
anybody.
happen.
Don't watch yourself with Black women. Like, take care of
Watch
us.
yourself with anybody. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think
Yeah.
a woman's race has anything to do with you beating up and strangling her.
I
Like,
don't
no,
think it's
I
that
think
deep.
that's-
Andre's like,
I
But
think
that's
she's
two
saying
they're
there's a
saying
reaction from
that
the
the
public.
reactions from the police, the
Pub-
reactions from everything,
the public.
is stronger
Yeah.
because it's a white woman. Think about it when like Black women go missing.
I
You do not get the
understand. I
same
understand what
publicity
she's
and
saying.
conversation.
I understand that the reaction's going to be different, but her warning was, don't fool with white women because you won't get away with it the way you would with Black women. That's what she was saying.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. You say she's not saying don't do it.
Right.
She should be saying don't beat on women.
Right.
Period.
Don't do it. She's saying, hey, you need to be more careful with white women. I think she's
There's a
trying to say you
flip
need to
to
be
it.
more
Yeah.
careful.
Exactly.
You
They're
just have to
gonna
be more
believe the
careful
other
with white
woman.
women. I don't think she meant to imply that it's okay to beat anybody.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
In case in point,
It implied
I looked at Ezra Miller. So Ezra Miller plays
Let me look at Ezra Miller.
he plays the Flash, and so that's one of the MCU, a superhero universe. He didn't lose his deal. You know what I mean? That's their point, is that he's a white guy.
The Flash is DC.
Yeah, DC, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't lose
that's
his
why you don't
It's
know.
a different company. Is my
Yeah.
point. That's
The
not
Flash
just-
is actually pretty good.
yeah.
I like the TV show. I don't see the
No
yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah. I like
he's in
the
the
TV
MC
shows
universe.
So that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
there's
If
been
he
a
didn't
lot of
lose his-
stories about him. He didn't leave, and it was in like 9, 10. They lot of series.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna make this a race issue. The man strangled a woman in the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but the consequences happening so fast, like the story just
They should
brushed
have
off
been
everything
fast.
without
They
even.
But
should
I see what Alicia's saying is like,
Yes.
if this same thing is kind of happening with a white person and he's still got his TV show, he's not. Is that what
Exactly.
you're saying?
Yeah, he still has.
That's
his
what I
job.
was saying,
Jonathan
Alicia. I agree with
Majors
you.
should keep his job because the white boy next door kept his.
No,
No,
I
the
think they
white
should
boy
both
should lose his
lose.
job
No,
too.
we're
and
just
go to
saying
the
they should be
same-
told
Treat
to be
everybody the
quitting.
same.
job
Stop
too.
using race.
That's a whole different conversation, though. Like we're talking about.
I think it's
Jonathan
part of the
Majors.
conversation. I
It's
think
part
it's
of the
all
conversation. It's
intertwined.
not, why does it always have, I mean, I think it's part of the conversation. Why is it when a person of color does it, cancel correct
The
quickly,
rules
it
change and the
appears.
finish line
I
changes.
disagree. White men have been getting canceled for the last since the Me Too movement
What we were
happened.
saying.
That's not that long ago.
The Me
Not
Too
long.
Hold on one
movement
second. Hold
mostly-
on. Hold
The
on.
Me Too movement mostly impacted white, powerful men. I mean, that's the reality of the situation.
We weren't saying
Because-
that he shouldn't be. We were saying that it was awfully fast. He hasn't been proven innocent or guilty. If he had not been black, would they not have waited for an
I
outcome?
think it's because he's an asshole and people don't like him and they've probably been waiting for.
But my thing
Probably
is,
But why don't
if he's
people
an
like him?
asshole, I find suspicious though. If he's been an asshole this whole time, why has no one ever mentioned about him being a horrible person to work with this whole time?
Hence we go to protect these vicious.
I ain't trying to protect him. I'm
We're not
asking a serious
protecting, we're just
question.
saying you need a level
about
playing
protecting.
field.
You're making it.
Thank you.
It's not about
Yeah,
protecting
we're just
black
saying
men,
that
it's
the
just treating
consequences
One at a
everybody the
time,
same.
one at a
Together,
time.
backflips we make to
No,
Auntie, I have
Auntie,
valid
Well,
questions, Auntie. First of all, if I feel like you're a horrible co-host, I'm not gonna just, pretend like I like you, blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden, when you stuff hits the fan and jerk the lowest, oh, you know what? I hated you this whole time anyway. It's like, really? If you were a horrible person, I should have said that long ago. Like I shouldn't be trying to offer you deals and try to work with you some more and this and that, and like, come on.
And I just asked the question, and I'm not saying that it has not happened. It's just interesting that all of it's coming up now. Like, why hadn't people pressed charges before now? I mean,
Exactly.
like, why is it this now? Especially because we
look at
have
the
gone
Me
through the
Too
Me
movement.
Too.
How long did
Right.
that take for people
No,
to?
I understand that, but just like Alicia said, like if he's such a horrible person, like all this time, like co-workers.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein was a horrible
Harvey Weinstein was
person.
terrorizing
Guess what? He's a
Hollywood
rich,
for
powerful
20
white man.
years.
Jonathan Majors is coming up. He could have not just been booked. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to be booked for every damn movie he was in. Like, come on.
well,
Plenty of black
viewers,
male actors who could have had those spots.
this was a hot one. We had to like jump
it's
back
still
on and
hot.
really get into this hot one. Y'all get into it. It's with us. What do y'all think about Jonathan Majors?
I
Do you
say
think
off
that
with
he
his head.
Do you think he should have lost his deals before being proven guilty? And do you think that the consequences are the same for other people that are in similar situations? And yeah, let's keep our hands off each other. Let's love each other. But what we just put our fingers on
Oh my
is that
God.
subscribe button, hit that like button. That's the only thing you need to be hitting out here.
I love
All right,
it when I
y'all.
put my hands on
Right.
somebody.
Auntie, I guess I can forgive you. Mhm.
Girl, Lisa, no, you hold that grudge to next Wednesday.
Okay.
Until next Wednesday.
Right.